A real man, full of knowledge. I had a lot of worldly knowledge, but knowledge of Christ and his wisdom I did not have. Otherwise, I would have been so foolish as to do the things I've done and call it having fun. I am still standing today after all that I subjected myself to. 2 times in my life, I wanted to kill somebody. 2 times, I had a weapon. A M16 rifle in Vietnam. Someone used to tease me all the time and call me a farmer boy. And he did it 1 time too many. In the not the barracks, but the place we went, the little service area, in the evening to unwind. And he teased me that time. I had had enough. I went and got my rifle. And I came back outside and I walked around with it. Now I don't cry too often, y'all. But I cried. And I walked around with the rifle. And I was going to kill him. For something so minute as teasing me. Didn't put his hands on me. But words hurt. Be careful how we talk about one another and what we say to one another. After all, we are in this together. We are people that are like-minded. How so? We love God, who gave his son for us. We're supposed to be full of love. Then why talk about someone enough to cause them to do something drastic? Talk about someone to cause them to have feelings so bad that you want to do something drastic like leave your church, your congregation. Really? You're going to allow somebody that if they were where they need to be, they wouldn't be saying these things anyway. See, we have to be careful how we treat one another. The things that we say to one another and the things that we do to one another. And everybody says, oh, I love the Lord. Then the things we do should be Christ-like, right? Supposed to be? Christ-like. You never heard of Jesus doing any of this stuff. And people said all kinds of things about him, you see. But when they talked about me, because I don't know where I needed to be, I wanted to kill him. The next time was years and years ago. I live where I'm living right now. Guy used the N-word. Told me to get off of his property. And I was having a decent conversation with his mother. He drives up and almost hit me with his truck. Jumps out, ran up in my face. Called me up. Yeah. Get off my property. I went home. Got my shotgun. Again, tears rolled. I was going to really mess him up. I was going to shoot him right in the head. I was going to really mess him up. But God stepped in. And at the time, guess what? I wasn't saved. Didn't know the Lord. But you see, God has a way. Say, God has a way that's mighty sweet. Tell me about it. Saved me many times from doing something drastic. See, I wouldn't even be here. I'd be somewhere locked up still for the rest of my life. But I still would have had a chance to get to know him because he's a forgiving God. See, look at all the things that in the Old Testament. Look at all the things that these men of God done. That was not godly. But God has a way. You see, God gets out of us what he wants. and when he wants it. We may run and think we've got away, but God sees all. Nobody can hide. God is the all-wise, all-seeing, and all-knowing God. How do we think we can sneak away, do something and stick our hands behind our back as we didn't throw the rock, and think God don't know? You see, he knows. Ran across this fella when I was on vacation for a couple of days. He loaned the preacher $2,500. Preacher didn't pay him back. He is upset. He just had a stroke. He walked, he walked. It's hard for him to walk. Yet, he is sitting in the house, about 7 or 8 people, cursing, using every other word, foul language. He can't hardly make it. He's about 68, about 65, 70 years old. Cursing, even at this time in his life. Bitter. Over $2,500. Money. See, it's what you think of money that gets you in trouble. It's how you use it that gets you in trouble. This man is yet bitter over some dollars. Not that he needs the $2,500. He retired from the phone company 37 years. Owned a very thriving lawn service business. And still gets disability. He doesn't really need the $2,500, but he allowed money to get in the way. Says the root of all evil. Money's okay. We all need it. It's what we let it cause us to do. It's the condition that we allow it to cause us to get in. But God. But God. See again, God keeps every promise. God looks at the heart. It says God searches the heart. We that know the word, we that know what the will of God for our lives is, we need to be serious about it. It says keep his commandments. Keep his commandments. See, we have read, have heard about the commandments. We know what they are. We just need to keep them. See, we all have a lot of work to do. There's never a time when you can't say or tell somebody, encourage somebody to love the Lord. You know, I have a witness that works with me every day, and you know how they think. And he had a young man to come in the store and do some cleaning for him. Young man about 21 years old, but he'd had a hard life. His mother kicked him out of the house. His father's not around. He grew up in the streets. He don't know what respect is. So he says something to the guy that I hired to run the store down there. He said something to him and got up in his face, and he told him, "Get out, and don't come back." So I honor what he told him. The guy wants to come back in and work because he's in the street and he needs to make some cash put in his pocket. He's always running around trying to sell some CDs or DVDs or something. But anyway, I got in a good conversation with him the other day, and I told him, I said, "Listen, there's 2 guys down there that did that." I said, "Listen, you can't hold a grudge against them because of something they said." I said, "This young man has to learn some things." And I said, "I saw you talking to him one day trying to encourage him." I said, "You gave up on him? You just stopped?" I said, "He still needs encouragement because you got angry because he reared up at you. You're going to stop trying to encourage him to seek the Lord?" I said, "You have to get to a point So you're not where you think you are because you are allowing this situation to give up on a young man that desperately needs your help. He said, well, I'm not, I'm not like you yet. I haven't gotten there yet. You see, you can take it. I can't take it. I said, well, wait a minute. What do you mean you can't take it? You're walking around proclaiming Christ. You know, they kind of look at Jesus as being just somebody, in a way. But I said, now you saying that you honor God so much. You said that God hadn't brought you to this point, and he's been in this thing since he was born. His father had been from babies on up, and now he's 37 years old. And still so confused that you wouldn't believe it. But I said to him, and I came down on him pretty hard. So the next day he told me, he said, man, says, I went home last night. He says, man, what you said kind of got to me. That's what he mean. I wanted to kind of smile, but it was too serious a situation to smile. And I said, what do you mean? He said, I even prayed last night and asked God to move me to a higher place, to let me kind of get to where you are so I won't get mad at the young man. You see, because he and the other fellow don't want him to work there, I says, I honor. I said, you know why I don't let him come in and work? I says, it doesn't bother me. I said, I've gotten past the point of where people say things that they don't really mean because they are angry. I said, I don't let him come in because he disrespected you and the other man that is 72 years old. I said, I don't let him come in and do anything because I respect you for what you told him. I said, if you're in charge, you make a decision. I said, I'm not going to come in easily and override that decision and make you look bad. So I said, I don't let him come in because he disrespected you and the other fellow. I said, but for me, what he said and what he did don't bother me. I said, I'm past that point. I said, if I need something done, you think I'm not going to let him come in and do it? You think I'm going to do it? So he said he went home and prayed and asked the Lord to help him not to be the way he is. I said, man, I pray for you every night. So I asked God to step in, to kind of like to clear your understanding, because you allow people to cause you to come out of your character, and then you don't know how to let go. You continue to hold it. Not good. Not good. So he has done, I know he is a witness, and they believe how they do. But he's been there for 2 years. But he beginning to see things a little different. And he always tells me how things I tell him come true, and how he gets in his house and the conversation between him and his wife, how things begin to fall in place. He said, man, says, how do you know all this stuff? I says, I don't.